and welcome to another Outside the Box review. Today we are looking at the NECA Cult Classics Wave 1, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Now I have to say, right off the bat, this is probably my favorite movie villain of all time. I love Jason's movies. If you've seen my other channel, you can see how deep my devotion to the character goes. A little bit of a fanboy in that respect, but I just love Jason stuff, and this is my absolute favorite look. It's also the first movie where Kane Hodder started playing Jason, and he's the only guy to pick up the role more than once, and he's, in my opinion, the very best Jason of them all. And this look is just terrific. Now, the first thing I'm going to comment on this figure is that NECA didn't quite do it right. It looks good. It captures the spirit of the makeup and the spirit of the wardrobe from that movie, but I don't think they nail it, and it's actually kind of disappointing because I was hoping that their Jason figure would be much better. Now, granted, today, NECA are making even Jason figures that are more accurate, more detailed, and just all around better. And there's rumors that they're going to retool this figure. I don't know exactly how far they're going to go, and if they're just going to do a repaint, or if they're actually going to rework it, give it more joints and things like that. But I'd be very interested to see what they can do with their current level of creation. So let's jump right into him. As you can see, he has the sculpt is very nice. The sculpt is very well done. He has this rubbery shirt on here that gives the illusion of it hanging off his body. You can see all the exposed ribs and bones down his arm, all kinds of rips and cuts and tears. It's very nice. And the pants follow the same kind of idea. They're torn up, shredded. You can see the exposed bones at the knees. It's got some dirty boots, torn up fringes everywhere. It's just a mess, which is what this Jason should be. It's how he should look. He also is standing on a nice little foresty, kind of swampish display base. All kinds of roots and little stump and all that kind of stuff on there. We'll get more into his display base a little later. One thing that does bug me about this figure is the gloves. Jason did not wear gloves in that movie, and I think a lot of people try to put them on him because he had them in Part 6, but Jason didn't have gloves in Part 7, and it's a little obnoxious to see these ones sculpted on here. And his hands are also very rubbery, which is kind of an odd trait to me. Let's turn him around here, give you a look at this back. One of my favorite features on this Jason is that rotted spine coming out and the shoulder blades, and once again they did a good job of getting all that on there. Now let's take a look at probably one of Jason's most iconic features, his hockey mask. And just like I love the look of this Jason, the hockey mask is also one of my favorite designs for the hockey mask in any movie. Unfortunately, NECA didn't pull it off. It has these scratches on it, but they're so uniform on some level that it comes off looking like he has a wooden mask. The middle triangle is somewhat accurate, but I feel like it's a little too big. The axe wound, the major axe wound that he got from Part 3, is just a little indentation. It's probably not even noticeable on camera. It's so tiny. They did, however, get the cutaway section there decent. I think it is a little big. I haven't watched the movie in a little while, but I believe that is a little bigger than it should be. If we take the hockey mask off, we get a pretty good little face there. And when I say little, I mean it. He kind of has a pinhead look. His body is so massive that his head actually ends up being a little underwhelming. But the detail on it is fairly nice. You have the eye socket here, the one eye there, no nose, rotten teeth, more teeth on the side. You have the scar from the axe wound up here, and then the machete wound from part 4. Just a little bit of blood, and just gives it a nice overall decayed effect. He also has this chain that he was chained down at the bottom of Crystal Lake at the end of part 6, and that breaks into being a part 7 to free him. The mask, once you get it off of him, is a pretty simple thing. These straps are rubber, and they're very, very skinny, and I am a little afraid that if you used it too often, these would end up snapping, which is a shame. Now let's get into Jason's weapons. That's the important part here, right? He comes with 3 different weapons, and they're fairly nice. He comes with the single-bladed axe, just very nicely made. It actually is a little sharp, which is pretty nice. He comes with his iconic machete. And the machete is a little disappointing, and unfortunately I know that it's disappointing because of some baggage that I bring to the character, or the figures of the character. A lot of the newer Jason figures have these very nicely made machetes. They look just absolutely great. And this was a much earlier figure, and I think it reflects in things like this. It just isn't nearly as nice as some of the newer machetes. It also kind of has a weird angle to it. It makes it look a little cartoonish to me. And the last accessory is the Harpoon, which is very nice. Once again, it's a little bit actually on the sharp side. And this handle really looks and feels like wood. And I'm sure it's not, but it really gives the illusion of it, and it's very nice, and it has a real little string on here. It would have been nice if the string was a little dirtied up, since it looks so brand new, and the harpoon itself looks like it has some weathering on it, but still a very nice job. Onto this display base. I gotta say, I am not a big fan of display bases with figures. I really don't have a lot of room to display my collection, and I feel like having a base, especially one this large, just limits my room even more. Unfortunately, this Jason pretty much needs his stand. You can see, even as he is standing on it now, he has a tendency to lean backwards. And I think that's just because of the top heaviness of the figure itself and the way it's built a little bit. If we take Jason off the stand, he's not going to stand, and this may not be the best flooring to put him on, but he still really does not stand on it at all. Now, the stand itself, as I mentioned before, is fairly nicely detailed. See the footprints where his feet will go in. This peg here, only one peg for 1 foot. It's really short. I feel if it had been just 50% longer, it probably would hold Jason better. He probably wouldn't have had the urge to fall over so often. It'd be a little nicer. Little nice detail on the stump. I know a lot of other people have pointed it out in their reviews. Back here it says Freddy Lives. It's a nice little joke. And this over here is a heart with is it ER in it? I think it's ER. I can't really read it too well. I don't know what that means. I mean, I get the Freddy joke. I'm not really sure what that's a reference to. If anybody knows, let me know. So I'd be interested to hear what that's saying. But overall, a decent display stand. Now, I gotta say, my little trick for getting around it is to get something thin. And we'll use his machete as an example, but I honestly, in my display, use a dime. And you could put it behind his foot here. And it may not work because this background is a little squishy. But if you put it under his foot, it will actually stabilize him enough so that you can have him without the display base. I would say, if you have not picked up this figure, And your only options now are probably going to be eBay or just randomly finding it somewhere else. It's not in stores anymore, as far as I know. I think he normally goes for about $40 to $50 now. I might be wrong on that. I haven't checked in a little bit, but I would wait and see what the NECA retool looks like. It could end up that this is the version you're going to end up wanting, but I have confidence that NECA is going to do something cool with it, because it is such a fan favorite. I can't see them risking messing it up. So it's very likely we could get something very cool coming up, I think in the next year or so, and this figure will be obsolete. And we'll be back with more very soon.